Are you feeling like work-life balance is just an impossible dream for you? You are not alone. I'm breaking down why the idea of balance sets us up for failure as working moms and how to focus on alignment and intentional time management using action-packed strategies from my Time Management Academy framework to help you prioritize what truly matters without sacrificing family time or self-care. My name is Laura Davis. I'm a time management strategist, and I help working moms just like you ditch the hot mess and level up your work life balance using a proven time management framework that was developed by me as a working mom for you as a working mom. All right, let's get into today's episode. So, are you ready to break free from this myth of balance and start creating a schedule that actually works for you? Join my Master Your Workweek Challenge, which is a free 5-day challenge to learn how to reclaim your time, prioritize what matters, and set the foundation for a productive and aligned week. You can sign up for this free challenge at thelauraddavis.com/workweek and take the first step toward mastering your time. Let's dig in. So, work-life balance. Sounds great, right? Sounds like something that everyone wants. It's kind of the ultimate dream as a working mom is to have work-life balance. I feel like that is the number one question that women, especially working moms, when we all get together, that's one of the number one questions and topics that come up in discussion, right? But let's be real for a minute. Does anyone actually feel like they've achieved work-life balance? And I will let you in on a little secret. The ones who can say, yes, I feel like I have work life balance, have figured out this one thing that I'm going to tell you about today. So, this concept of balance can often lead to guilt and frustration and really hinder your mental health, especially for working moms, because we juggle so many different roles, right? We're not only the colleague, we might also be the boss, we're the employee, we are also a wife, a mom, a daughter, a sister, a friend, a spouse. We have all of these different titles, a chauffeur, a coach, a CFO of the family. I know that's one of my job titles. And there are a lot of roles that we play, and that can get exhausting, right? So, I want to tell you a story about a time when my work life balance was really out of whack. And I truly felt like I was failing in all areas. And looking back, hindsight is always 2020. So looking back, I kind of know why, and I learned a lot of valuable lessons. But it snuck up on me. Like even someone who teaches time management, this becoming out of balance snuck up on me. And it snuck up on me twice, actually, in 2024. Once in the spring and then again in the fall. And I will say, like, looking back, I could see that some of it was coming, but not to the degree that it happened. And sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you get out of balance and you don't even realize it for a little while. So let's talk about last fall. I will say, hands down, the number one thing that led to me feeling out of balance was the amount of travel I had for my corporate job, and also the the projects I had in my corporate job. I will say, it was just such a high producing time of year for my corporate job that everything else truly took a back seat. My business took a back seat, my health took a back seat, my family took a back seat, and it was almost, I was in it before I realized what was happening. And once I realized it, I knew what to do to get myself out of it. But it truly was one of the most jarring times that I feel like I had been out of balance in quite a long time, honestly. And I will say that the word balance, I'm not really a big fan of. I do like to say, like, do we feel balanced? I even have, like, in my balanced era little stickers. And so I do use it, but with a caveat. And that is that we should really be focusing on alignment and harmony when it comes to balance, because you're going to have different phases. You're going to have different parts of your life where one aspect of your life might require more from you than the other. And so, focusing on what truly matters in each season of your life is truly what balance is. And that's going to be different in every phase. And I think that's the piece that a lot of people miss, that we're going to talk more about here in just a minute. And so, if I had to give you another example that I learned my lessons from in 2024, that would be the most recent launch, my January cohort launch for Time Management Academy. Now, I had this planned out back in early October. And I knew months in advance when I was launching the January cohort. And so, because of that, and because of everything I had gone through in 2024, I took extra steps to make sure that I was in alignment and I was in harmony going into this launch. And can I just tell you that it was my most successful launch ever in my business? It was the most fun I've had, and it was the most stress-free launch that I've ever had. And let me also tell you something else. I got sick in the middle of the launch, and Harper got even sicker in the middle of the launch. And I still felt like I had everything under control, which was a huge win for me for this launch. So I want to talk a little bit more about balance and about what that looks like, and kind of touch on the myth of balance, right? So balance really suggests, like, the word balance suggests that every area of your life gets equal attention. But that's impossible, right? So if we were talking about all of those roles and job titles that we hold as working moms earlier in the episode, imagine each of those getting equal attention every single day. It is next to impossible. And I'll tell you a couple of really common myths that I hear specifically around work-life balance. The number one myth is that balance is the same for everyone. So when you go to a girls' dinner and you guys are all sitting around at the restaurant and you're on your second glass of wine and somebody brings up work-life balance, I promise you, what is working for your friend Mary is likely not going to work for your friend Susan. And what works for your friend Elizabeth is not going to work for your friend Catherine. Some parts might work, but holistically, it is very rare that an exact system works for more than one person when it comes to balance. And the second myth is that balance is a luxury that I don't get to have. And I think this one is also really common in that a lot of working moms feel like the chaos and the misalignment and the unhealthy balance is what's normal. That is just what is expected of us. That's just part of being a working mom. And it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. Balance is a luxury that we all can have. And I truly believe that. And I believe that that is part of my mission, which is why I'm so passionate about this. And I will also say that your mindset often leads to feeling like we're failing in one of these areas, or in multiple or all areas. I mean, I know when I get out of alignment or I get out of harmony, that is one of my instant red flags. Is if I have that thought that I'm failing everyone around me, that is my red flag to say, whoa, I need to pump the brakes on everything and evaluate what's going on, because that's a red flag that I'm out of alignment, I'm out of harmony. Let me evaluate what's going on. And balance, the word balance, I keep going back to this word, that it implies, again, the equal parts. So something like you're giving 50-50, or some people even say that you should be giving 100% to all the different aspects of your life, which is even more pressure and even more unrealistic. But for working moms, this just puts such an unrealistic burden on us and our mental, emotional, and physical health, which is what I experienced last fall. And I'm still healing from this. I'm still fixing my health from getting so far out of alignment so quickly. I mean, I feel like it literally happened overnight last fall. And, I'm going to try not to go on a soapbox here, but we're literally told our whole lives. I know I said this a second ago, but I'm going to sharpen this point a little bit, not to use corporate jargon here, but I'm going to sharpen this point for a second. We are told as girls our whole lives that you can either be a good mom or you can have a successful career. You can't have both. We are told that our entire lives, that we cannot have both. That, there are all these messages put out into the world that you are a bad mom if you're working full time. There's that whole oh, do you really want someone else to raise your kid for you? No. I have no, thankfully people don't say that to me, because I think I just give off this attitude of do not say that to me. But I've seen it on Instagram. I've heard from other moms, other working moms, that their friends have said that to them. And that is, I call BS on all of it. And like I said a second ago, my mission on this earth is literally to show working moms that you can have it all, and that it takes intentional action and intentional time management. So I said I wasn't going to go off on a tangent, but I did, because I'm just so incredibly passionate about working moms knowing that you are a good mom, and you are a good employee, a good business owner, a good spouse. You are good at all of your roles. You are. Now, if you feel out of harmony or out of alignment, that is fixable. I was talking to my girlfriend, Amanda, shout out to Amanda, and it was about something, not this topic, unrelated, but I said something and I was like, I need to put this on a t-shirt. But I said, if I overcomplicated it, I can also simplify it. And the same thing is true with work-life balance and with harmony and all of that, is that if you get out of harmony and out of balance, you can also get yourself back into balance. And that should feel really good for you. That should be really encouraging for you. So I want to shift the word balance to the word alignment, the word harmony. So what is alignment? It's about prioritizing the areas of your life that matter most in that phase and allowing flexibility for other parts of life to adjust. And, the word alignment really gives you permission to focus on what's most important without feeling guilty, because you know that the other areas of your life are going to get that level of focus at the right time, even if it's a different time. So this could be on an hour-to-hour basis. It could be on a day-to-day, week-to-week, or sometimes even a month-to-month basis. And I'm going to give you an example. We just talked about the January cohort, but I want to give you another example. Harper's birthday back in December. That was a time where I was planning a big birthday party for her. And, there were a lot of different moving parts because we had it at the barn that I ride at. So there's a few layers that go into that, because it's at a barn with horses and livestock animals. There's just a few other layers. And so I knew that I needed to, for a week, I needed to prioritize her and her birthday, because that's what she deserves on her birthday. And I needed to let some other things go. So I let content go on social media. I let, a couple of things like work meetings at my corporate job. I decided that I was not a critical part of that meeting, and I let that go so I could focus on projects that needed to get done at work, knowing that I needed to also plan Harper's birthday party and be there for her birthday. Another good example is the holiday season, where your personal life and your family and your social life demands a lot more from you. And thankfully, this also seems to be a time in most careers, not all of them, but some of them, where work kind of naturally slows down for you. So that's an easy adjustment. Another one is when Zach, my husband, has really big projects at work. This is kind of on a day-to-day basis where I will need to adjust my business hours, because he may need our home laptop, or he may need to go into work early. So then I'm solo with Harper, whereas most of the time in the mornings, he is doing Harper so that I can get some time management academy work done. So it's things like that where you're shifting a little bit, but you're not out of, just because you shift that one moment in time doesn't mean that you are completely out of balance or completely out of alignment. So I want to talk a little bit about how certain aspects of the TMA framework that I created can help you see true work-life balance. And I'm going to keep saying balance because I almost feel like I just had this thought in the middle of this episode. So you guys are seeing this in real time. But you remember from Mean Girls where they were like, stop trying to make fetch happen. I don't want to try to force an entire movement of working moms to change the language to work-life harmony or work-life alignment. Work-life balance is just the term that we use. So instead of changing the term, I'm just going to change the definition of it. So that's what we're going to do here in real time. I'm going to keep saying work-life balance, but just know that when I say that, I'm defining balance in my own way. All right, so there are 4 pillars of the TMA framework. The first one is principles of time management. And one of the principles that I teach is that structure creates flexibility. And what I mean by this is that when you create structure in your time and in your schedule, you're actually giving yourself more flexibility. So when you need to ebb and flow between the different parts of your life that require work-life balance, when you have structure in place, it's a lot easier to be flexible and switch that work-life balance focus from day to day or week to week. I also talk about the importance of capacity awareness and really understanding what your bandwidth is. And so when you say no to something because you know that you're at or over capacity, you're actually creating space for alignment and for work-life balance by leaning into your own boundaries around your time, which is really powerful. And I also think that you can set super meaningful boundaries when you understand your true bandwidth and capacity every single month. I fully believe that. That's why about once a quarter, I host that free bandwidth reset workshop. I only do it once a quarter. And it's super powerful. So be on the lookout for the next one. It won't be until Q2. The next pillar is skills of time management. And this is really where we dig into like the tools of how to manage your time and the nitty gritty. And so things like having a digital calendar set up the correct way, in a way that works for you, and leveraging time blocking, but time blocking in a way for working moms. So I always like to say that I have taken time management foundations that are rooted in science and research, but I tweak them for working moms. And the same goes for time blocking because I don't do time blocking like everyone else. Also, when you leverage those skills to manage your time and the correct tools for you as a working mom, you get to actively control your time, right? And you get to actively control your schedule and actively control your calendar. So that makes you in control. You're not the one being controlled by your calendar. You're the one in control of your calendar, which again, should feel really good for you. And then the final pillar is managing your mindset. So this is where we go from talking about our time negatively and our schedule negatively to more empowering thoughts. So something you might say like, "Oh, I'm a horrible mother today because I had to work 8 hours, and I am a horrible mother because Instagram is making me feel guilty that someone else is raising my child for me," which is not true. Instead, changing that to, I love having a career and me working makes me a better mom, which I wholeheartedly believe. I fully believe that I'm a better mom because I work. Also in the mindset pillar is creating a plan B for how to handle unexpected things. And that goes back to the structure creates flexibility. When you have the structure, it's much easier to handle the unexpected. So I really hope that you like this new definition of work-life balance, and really truly that the definition is one that you get to choose. You get to decide what work-life balance means for you. No one else can tell you if you're balanced or if you're not balanced. And I can say that so far, the last several months, I have felt very, very balanced. And I just shared everything that I did to get there behind the scenes. And so, the tools and the strategies that I teach inside of TMA go beyond just helping you manage your time. It truly helps you build a life that feels aligned and intentional and balanced. And so, if you really resonate with this, I think the best first step for you is the free Master Your Work Week challenge. You can sign up for that at theloradavis.com/workweek. I would love to see you in there. I'm in there all the time behind the scenes, answering questions in the comments and things like that. And we've had about 100 women go through that free challenge. So I hope that you can join us. Again, you can sign up for free at theloradavis.com/workweek. And I really hope that this was a great episode for you. I would love to hear your feedback. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or leave a comment on the video below, and I will see you in the next episode.